Part 76. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 753. 751. Huo Jekian was angry. This wife would get stupidly sick every once in a while. No matter how rich he Tian is, it's her money. How dare the second brother and the second sister spend their daughter-in-law's money, Huo Jekian asked. Don't worry about the things of the second brother's family all day long. Besides, our Huo family, our family is much more advantageous than the second brother's family. Don't take advantage of me and act like a good boy. Why can people make you speechless every time you bully your second brother and sister? Is it because you are not as eloquent as her, or because you are not as smart as her? It's not because the second brother didn't take advantage of the Huo family. If you make the second brother unhappy because of this matter, you won't get any benefits when the family is separated. This is not possible, Song Chunli said. We are the Huo family. We will carry forward the Huo family in the future, so the things will naturally be given to us. Then we are the Huo family. My second brother, Yingzhe, isn't it? Huo Zhe said. I can see that the second brother is more capable than me, and Yingzhe is more capable than Yingjun. Over the years, I have used the connections of the Huo family. We have just come this far. On the other hand, the second brother has been outside all these years, and the Huo family's resources are basically in Yanjing. He has achieved such achievements alone outside, and it is inevitable that he will go further in the future. Maybe in the future, Yingjun and I will still be able to rely on our second brother, Yingzhe. If you don't understand, don't think too much and say more. Song Chunli looked at her husband blankly. She did not know these things, but she knew in her heart that the old lady and the old man were partial to the big house. Okay, I've told you what needs to be said. Stop staring at the thing on the tip of your nose with thin eyelids and take a longer view. After Huo Jekian finished speaking, he turned off the light and turned around to sleep. Song Chunli still wanted to say something, but seeing her husband's appearance, she probably would have to give her another big mouth if she said anything again. Song Chunli didn't sleep well at night. She couldn't listen to her husband's persuasion and was thinking about the money. Early the next morning, Huo Yingzhe and he Tian went to pay back the money. Song Chunli was very envious and watched them leave. Mom, how much did you give them? Song Chunli finally couldn't bear it anymore. If she didn't ask, she would die from it. Mrs. Huo glanced at Song Chunli and said, 20,000. 20,000, Song Chunli exclaimed, that much. Now Yanjing is no longer what it used to be. Jekian and Yingjun also have to spend money. What? Do you think I gave you too much? Mrs. Huo raised her voice slightly and glanced at Song Chunli. Hey, I get stupid every once in a while, especially when money is involved. Haha, it's a bit much. After all, there's a lot of money at home. Song Chunli's heart was bleeding. 20,000 yuan, my god, it's more than her 10 years' salary. Humph, Mrs. Huo snorted coldly, I think it's too much. I'll give you the 20,000 yuan given to Yingzhe. Then you and your family can pack up and share the things. Let the second family move in later. The old man and I will live with them. Ah, Song Chunli didn't expect her mother-in-law to say that. She immediately blushed and said nonchalantly, let me tell you, it's not much. After all, buying a decent house in Yanjing costs a lot of money. Mrs. Huo glanced at Song Chunli again. Some people just couldn't see the situation clearly. Some things and some words don't need to be said, as long as everyone understands them, but this person has to say it out, has to say harsh and unpleasant words, and only then can she give up and feel comfortable. It's good to know, Mrs. Huo said, the most important thing in a person is contentment. Now, let's see how the kitchen is prepared. Yingzhe and Tian are leaving in the afternoon, so we need to give them a good send-off. Oh. Song Chunli didn't want to be stared at by the old lady like this, and she felt guilty. Zhao Huan just saw her mother-in-law talking to her grandmother. She knew what her mother-in-law was talking about by looking at her expression, so Zhao Huan went upstairs instead of coming down, not wanting to get involved. Mother-in-law Song Chunli cannot be angry with her grandmother, but she can be angry with her daughter-in-law. Mr. Huo came in from outside and asked Mrs. Huo the reason for her ugly face. After hearing this, Mr. Huo smiled bitterly and said, "Hey, you should be more careful. When we are alive, we should protect it. When we are 100 years from now, we won't have to worry about it." "Hey, this is the only way," Mrs. Huo said. "You shouldn't have gone to the Song family's daughter in order to repay your kindness. You have no other skills, just a scheming mind. Look at the Song family, now they are all. It's embarrassing to think about what has happened. Yes, being poor is not terrible, but you must have a vision, a broad mind, and an ambition." Mr. Huo sighed. "Okay, there's no point regretting it. I just hope she can understand these principles in the future." "Forget it, I will never understand in my lifetime," Mrs. Huo said. "Fortunately, Huan is a good person, and Dafang is not hopeless." "Well, you still have good taste," Mr. Huo praised. "The daughter-in-law and granddaughter-in-law that the old lady likes are the best." "That's right," Mrs. Huo said. "I don't have good taste, but I can fall in love with a shrewd ancestor like you." Haha, the old lady's words made Mr. Huo laugh. After he Tian completed the formalities, the staff sighed, "It's really rich." He Tian had long hair disheveled, a white slim-fitting dress, and crystal sandals on her feet. She snuggled in front of Huo Yingja like a fairy. The two went home hand in hand, Huo Yingja telling jokes, making He Tian laugh from time to time. Zhang Aijun was not far away, followed by Yunfen. Yunfen was still an unmarried 18-year-old young man. He was curious about the relationship between men and women and looked at the couple in front of him with great envy. "Captain, this team leader Huo was cold and icy at work, but I didn't expect him to be so approachable in life," Yunfen whispered. The man's smile became brighter because of a woman, which was also very beautiful. Zhang Aijun had been watching He Tian and Huo Yingja all the way, and knew their love very well. "Yes, team leader Huo is very humble, but he is very serious when working," Zhang Aijun said. "I think you are envious of their talent and beauty, and you want a wife, right?" Yunfen blushed and said a little shyly, "Captain, don't be so direct, I don't have a partner yet." "Haha, no wonder," Zhang Aijun said, "you are still young. When you meet a woman you like, you will be willing to do anything for her." Oh, Yunfen seemed to understand, but he remembered in his young heart that when he has a partner and a wife in the future, he must treat his wife as well as team leader Huo. Seeing the roses blooming on the roadside, Huo Yingja acted like a ruthless scoundrel, picking the most beautiful pink flower, breaking off the leaves, leaving only the flower, and inserting it into He Tian's hair. The face is like a lotus and the eyebrows are like willows, the beauty is still there. The sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 754. 752. When they arrived at home, Mrs. Huo greeted He Tian, Huo Yingja, and their two children for dinner. Mrs. Huo prepared some things for He Tian to take back. Huo Yingjun personally sent Huo Yingja's family away. He Tian and Huo Yingja arrived at the train station. Bai Qianjiao and He Jingyu were already on the train. "Brother, thank you," Huo Yingja said. "Grandma and grandfather here in Yanjing, please ask brother and sister-in-law to take care of them." "This is what it should be," Huo Yingjun said. "You should also take care." "Take care," the two brothers hugged. It is more than words. Huo Yingja got on the train and settled the child, only to realize that this time there were several special trains in total. "Dad, I see there are a lot of people here this time." "Who are they?" Huo Yingja asked, a little curious. He Jingyu smiled and replied, This time it's mainly your grandmother and Uncle Chi, and the others are the investigators from the two families who used their influence to bring over your father. These people all have some resources abroad. Take a look. What investment opportunities are there? Oh, thank you for your hard work, Dad. Huo Yingji smiled. This was all for his own father. A group of people had already arrived before, and half of them decided to invest and set up factories in Nanji. Most of them have relatively high technological content, which makes the city government very satisfied. Once these factories are put into production, they can provide a large number of jobs. Although the tax revenue is not much, as long as the initial preferential policies are passed, a large amount of tax revenue can be generated. It's nothing, they are all family members, He Jingyu said. If your father can do a good job, you and Tian Tian can also enjoy the shade with your back against the big tree. Haha, that's right. Huo Yingji nodded, feeling grateful. There were a lot of people on the special train, and people often came to visit Bai Qianjiao, but most of them were Qi Shuliang talking to them, while Bai Qianjiao listened and didn't speak, so in everyone's eyes, Bai Qianjiao was always reserved and aloof. But considering the strength of the Bai family and the fact that Bai Qianjiao was older than them, they didn't mind. This time, they also relied on the influence of the Bai family and the He family to have the opportunity to come together. Fortunately, we arrived in Nanji very quickly. Huo Jekan and the city government staff came to greet him and took him directly to the Nanji guest house. He Tiantian and Huo Yingji took He Jingyu's family directly home, while Qi Shuliang and Annie went to the yard by the lake to meet their parents and children. Although it was a special train, I was still a little tired. Fortunately, after Zhang Lifang received the telegram, she started to clean up her home and let Grandma Wang live in their yard, so that the room was just enough. Mom, we are all coming back to live. How can we rest assured that you are living alone in the guest house? Seeing that his mother was silent, He Jingyu thought that her mother was unhappy. After all, this place had been her mother's sad place and she did not want to come back. Seeing her son's nervous look, Bai Qianjiao smiled slightly and said, after so many years, no matter how big the hatred is, there is no more hatred. Moreover, the fault in person is not only your father's, but mine too. The reason why I don't speak. I'm thinking about something. Haha, that's good. He Jingyu felt relieved. I thought you weren't happy to come and live here. Look, although our courtyard is not as magnificent as the guest house, we have family members here. How warm. Yes, as long as you are here, I feel happy, so you can rest assured. Bai Qianjiao smiled. By the way, where is Tian Tian? Wang Shuping was packing her things and said with a smile, Tian Tian and Yingja are preparing meals in the kitchen, and the child is playing with the big turtle in the yard. Don't you usually hire people to cook at home? Bai Qianjiao asked. I heard that my granddaughter has made a lot of money. Why not spend some money to hire people to do the work so that I can be more relaxed? Wang Shuping explained, there are not many people in the family, and Tianatian's child is more concerned about food and likes to cook by himself. Furthermore, the national conditions may be different. If you can cook by yourself, you will not hire a nanny. Maybe things will change in the future. After hearing this, Bai Qianjiao nodded and said, when you have time, please advise Tian Tian, don't work too hard on yourself if you can hire others to do the work. Okay, mother, I will talk to Tian Tian. Wang Shuping smiled and came to this small courtyard, which made her extremely happy. During her 2 or 3 years abroad, she had good food and good clothing, but what she could not forget the most was this small courtyard. Wang Shuping packed up and went to the kitchen to help cook. Brother Yingja, you ride a bicycle to our shop to buy some snacks and braised pork. We will have a snack for tonight, He Tian Tian said. Most of the dishes in the refrigerator are raw materials, and there are no meat dishes. Okay. I'll go right away, Huo Yingji said. When I pass by the farmer's market, I'll buy some more vegetables. Well, Yes, buy more, he Tian said. There are many people in the family, including more than a dozen families. Just cooking requires 2 rice cookers. After Huo Yingzhe left, Wang Shuping asked in a low voice, Tian, do you and Yingzhe not want to have any more children? Ah, he Tian was surprised, then smiled, I didn't say I didn't want it, just let it be. If you want it, don't want it? There is no contraception, and you are not pregnant, Wang Shuping asked in a low voice. Logically speaking, he Tian and Huo Yingzhe are in good health. Without contraception, she should be pregnant soon. Is there something wrong with your body? Yes, he Tian replied. Is there something wrong with your health? Wang Shuping asked, have you gone to the hospital for a checkup? He Tian smiled and said, at first, I also suspected that I had a physical problem, so I went to my mother-in-law's hospital and asked her to take me for a checkup. After the checkup, they said that I was in good health and didn't even have gynecological inflammation. Yingzhe, my brother's health is fine, and I won't care about it anymore. Children's matters also depend on fate, and I have a son and a daughter now, so I'm not in a hurry. Well, that's what you said, Wang Shuping said, as long as you are in good health, don't worry. Regarding children, it really depends on fate. I never thought that I would give birth to your brother and have 2 children. Yes, you see, my brother is so good looking and very sensible. There is someone to succeed my grandmother's career, he Tian said with appreciation. This result is good for everyone. Otherwise, she wouldn't know how to deal with her grandmother's mess. Yes, your brother not only has to go to school, he also has to study calligraphy, English, Chinese, French, German, and Latin, Wang Shuping said. For such a young child, there are many courses. That is, during holidays, there are also on the way. Your grandmother relaxed a little, and you have to study hard at other times. Wang Shuping thinks very simply. As long as the child is healthy, it is fine, and the child is not required to learn so much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 755. 753. But she knew that her son had the hope of the Bai family, and she couldn't stop him. Mom, you learned a lot when you were a child, and you will be able to do things easily when you grow up, he Tian persuaded. It's like having fun as a child, but being fooled when you grow up. He Tian thought that Huo Yingzhe was so smart and might have some good ideas. For example, she was worried that her grandmother and Grandma Chi-san were not in good health, so Huo Yingzhe went to get some pills to strengthen her body. If she asked Huo Yingzhe for help, maybe she could give her brother some refreshing pills that would make him smarter? Yes, that's how I comfort myself, Wang Shuping said. Fortunately, your brother can learn it now, and your grandmother and father didn't force him too much. That's good. Just take good care of your brother. The other grandmothers and fathers will care about you, he Tian said. My 2 children don't have any big business in the family to inherit, so they don't have high requirements. Haha, just because you think so doesn't mean that other people think so too, Wang Shuping said. Your father-in-law is busy with work and your husband is a scientific researcher. How can you prevent your 2 children from studying hard? That's true, he Tian smiled, but the child is still young, so we can wait until he is old enough to attend a Yuheng class. The mother and daughter were cooking and chatting. Bai Qianjiao and He Jingyu were sitting under the pomegranate tree, drinking tea and eating snacks, and talking from time to time. But their eyes often rested on the 3 children in the yard and the unlucky big turtle. This turtle is very strange, its body is shiny, there is no dirt, and there is no smell. The little spin turtle feels miserable. Now it not only has to ensure the safety of the wife, but also serves as a toy for the young lady and the young master. The two little guys often ride on it, crawl around, and sometimes shout loudly, "Drive, drive." I am a spinning turtle, not a flying horse. However, the master said that if you serve the little master well, you will be rewarded heavily. In order to get the reward, the little spinner turtle can only crush its teeth and swallow it in its stomach. "Where did you buy this turtle?" Bai Qianjiao asked. "It looks like it has been tamed, and it is very obedient." "I don't know, probably Tian Tian and Yingzhi bought it," He Jingyu said, "but this turtle has a good temper. Daodu is so naughty, and it doesn't get angry either. I want to be angry." But if he Daodu was hurt in anger, the lady would probably throw it out. "Haha, but Daodu is very happy," Bai Qianjiao said. "By the way, Ruiman is also very smart. I wonder if they have started foreign language education now." He Jingyu was stunned and said, "Mom, let's not worry about this. Yingzhi and Tian Tian are very smart people and will naturally teach their children. Let's just raise this little Daodu at home." "Haha, that's right," Bai Qianjiao said. "When a daughter gets married, she should always consider the man's opinion. This is a thought that has been in place for thousands of years and cannot be changed overnight." "Mother, actually this is not just like this in China, it is not like this in the United States, it's just not that obvious," He Jingyu said. "This society is like this, and it cannot be reversed by one or two people." Huo Yingzhi bought a lot of things, came in from outside, greeted Bai Qianjiao and He Jingyu, then sent the things to the kitchen, and then helped in the kitchen and did whatever he could. With the food in hand, the three of them worked very quickly. After about half an hour, the meal was ready. Zhang Lifang got off work and hurried home to talk to her grandmother. As for Huo Jekan, it is estimated that he will not be back until very late. When the inspection team comes, he will be responsible for receiving it, and then he will go back to continue the meeting. After dinner, everyone enjoyed the cool air in the yard. Huo Yingzhi lit an incense stick at the edge of the yard, and there were a lot fewer mosquitoes in the yard. As soon as summer comes, the solar water heater Huo Yingzhi made himself will come in handy. There is no need to boil hot water for bathing. There was only one bathroom in the house. After queuing up to take a shower, I changed into fresh pajamas and chatted and played chess in the yard. There are small spinner turtles around, so it's not very hot in the yard. By 8 o'clock, the children were sleepy, and the adults went back to their rooms to rest one after another. He Tian Tian packed up the things she brought from Yanjing and sent some to her mother-in-law. By the way, she told her mother-in-law about buying a house in Yanjing. "Mom, brother Yingzhi and I have bought a house in Yanjing. It's in Maohutong, not far from my grandmother and grandma's house," He Tian Tian said. "The environment is good, and the yard is quite big, which is enough for us to live in." Zhang Lifang was stunned and said, "I thought you were borrowing money from your grandmother, but it turns out you are going to buy a house. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I still have 20,000 yuan, which are the savings of your father-in-law and I over the years. Mom, I opened a shop and made money to buy it. I don't want your and father-in-law's money. Just put it away." He Tian Tian refused softly, not wanting her mother-in-law's money. Zhang Lifang refused to listen and took out a bank book and said, "It's all here. Take it. If you don't want it, your father-in-law and I will have no shame to live in the yard in the future." "Mom, we are a family, you know I don't care about this." He Tian Tian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This mother-in-law must be too enthusiastic. "Just because we are a family, your father-in-law and I must certainly contribute to such a big thing as buying a house," Zhang Lifang said. "Take it, if you don't take it, I will be angry. The money may not be enough, but your father-in-law and I only have this ability, it's useless to have any more." Seeing Zhang Lifang's insistence, He Tian Tian had no choice but to take it and said, "Thank you, Mom, I'll keep it." "It should be kept," Zhang Lifang said. "By the way, you bought a house, did you tell your grandmother? What was your aunt's reaction?" "Mom, if you didn't tell me, I almost forgot. Grandma heard that we bought a house, and she probably guessed what we were thinking. She was surprised at first, but after thinking about it, she agreed. Grandma gave it my 20,000 yuan bank book is said to be their contribution. He Tian smiled. As for the eldest aunt, she seems to have some objections, but she didn't say anything. 20,000 yuan, Zhang Lifang was stunned. Haha, I didn't expect my mother-in-law to give so much. But if we give it to us, we will take it and be more filial to them in the future. As for your aunt, whatever you say or what expression you have, just pretend you can't hear or see something. You lose your grace by arguing with her. Well, fortunately, there are so many elders in the family, so it's not my turn to argue with the eldest aunt. He Tian said frankly. No matter what, there are still two sensible old people in the family, and they will not let the eldest aunt to make or say something that goes too far. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 756. 754. Zhang Lifang nodded. This is a woman raised by a wealthy family. Some things can be revealed at a glance. Well, by the way, your eldest aunt didn't say she wanted to do business with you, Zhang Lifang asked. Ever since He Tian and Huo Yingzhe went to Yanjing, she had been worried about this matter. He Tian smiled and said, No, I went out with brother Yingzhe during the day, and then went back to the house after dinner in the evening. After that, I had some free time. My grandmother and parents came again, and she didn't have time to talk. He Tian was also a little lucky. Haha, that's good, Zhang Lifang said. I was worried that you would be in trouble. She was worried that her daughter-in-law would be wronged in her absence. The time is not ripe now. When the time is ripe, I will go to Yanjing to open a store. Then I will take her to do business with me. He Tian said, let her make some money, or let her talk all day and influence the love between two families. He Tian already has a plan. Well, just make your own decision, and don't embarrass yourself at the same time, Zhang Lifang said, as long as the big house is decent, especially Song Chunli. The relationship between the two families is inseparable. Even if they don't care about Song Chunli's face, they still want to give face to the old man and the old lady. They also want to give face to Huo Zheqian and Huo Yingjun. I made a note of Mom, He Tian said, it's been hot lately, so you should take care of yourself. Zhang Lifang was also very happy to see He Tian caring about her body. Okay, I will pay attention to my work. As you know, I am usually very busy. You have to help me speak in front of my grandmother, Zhang Lifang said, worried that she would misunderstand Tianatian's grandmother if she was always at work. Mom, don't worry. Grandma is very kind. You save lives and heal the wounded. We all understand, He Tian said. By the way, I have porridge stewed in the kitchen. I will carry it to you. Wait until father-in-law comes back and eat it. A little. Okay, I'll even carry the stove later, Zhang Lifang said. Your father-in-law probably knows how to drink and won't eat much. He'll just make some porridge. You're interested? Huo Yingzhe carried the stove and Zhang Lifang carried the porridge to the next door. Huo Yingzhe also used a thermos to make sobering tea and said, Mom, this is the sobering tea I asked an old Chinese medicine doctor to prepare. If Dad drinks, give him some before he eats porridge. Okay, Zhang Lifang was happy. Her son and daughter-in-law were filial, and she was naturally very happy as a mother. The couple checked the house again, then washed up and went back to the room. He Tian went to bed and didn't want to move. Huo Yingzhe lay sideways next to He Tian and asked softly, tired? Yeah, He Tian nodded. Although he was very happy, he was a little tired after the car ride and being busy all the time when he got home. Then I'll squeeze it for you, Huo Yingzhe said. Get down. He Tian lay on the bed, closed her eyes and rested. Huo Yingja gently pressed from He Tianatian's head, neck, and back. Wisps of divine power penetrated into He Tianatian's body through the acupuncture points. It's very comfortable. Keep massaging, He Tiantian urged. I will massage you again after I have rested. When Huo Yingja heard these words, he automatically understood them as meaning something else. It's just that He Tiantian is really tired. Even if Huo Yingja wants to do something, he can't let it go. Huo Yingja massaged He Tiantian carefully and then lit a soothing incense. He Tiantian slept even more soundly. A night without dreams, He Tiantian slept until dawn. It was bright outside and it was already 6:30. He Tiantian got up. In the yard, Bai Qianjiao was practicing a set of slow boxing techniques with He Jingyu and Wang Shuping. This is what Huo Yingja taught his father. His father thought it was good and probably taught it to his grandmother and mother. Grandma, have you started boxing too? He Tiantian asked. Well, judging by your proficiency, it should have been a year or two. Yes, I have been practicing for 2 years. Your father saw that I was not strong enough, so he taught me to practice boxing. I didn't believe it at first, but after a month of practice, my hands and feet became lighter, so I persisted. Except for one cold in more than a year, my health is very good. During my physical examination this year, my family's doctor also said that my physical condition is better than that of my peers. Bai Qianjiao explained, since it is so effective, I will take your mother to practice with you. Ah, when you have time, let Yingja teach you that the body is your capital. Without the body, everything is empty talk. Yeah, Grandma said yes, and I will follow suit in the future. He Tiantian nodded repeatedly. She wanted to accompany brother Yingja until she grew old, and live in good health. After He Tiantian finished speaking, he went to prepare breakfast. Porridge has been cooked in the rice cooker and the vegetables have been sorted. Huo Yingja went out and bought steamed buns, fried dough sticks and tofu rolls. I prepared a Chinese breakfast today and made a few sandwiches. There is no milk at home, only soy milk. If it's inconvenient to make Western breakfast at home in the future, don't do it, Bai Qianjiao said with a smile. Although it tasted good, she didn't want to trouble He Tiantian. Grandma, does it taste bad? He Tiantian asked. If it doesn't taste good, I'll ask brother Yingja to get up early to buy new bread. It's delicious, Bai Qianjiao said, I just think it's too much trouble. You've worked so hard and I don't want to tire you. It's okay, Grandma, it's just a casual thing, He Tiantian said. Besides, it's summer vacation now, I don't have to go to work, and there's nothing in the shop. I only cook for my family, so I'm not busy. Okay, Bai Qianjiao said, it's delicious. I like it very much. Okay, I'll prepare more ingredients today so that I can make something more delicious tomorrow. He Tiantian smiled and said that cooking for her family was an expression of love in her heart. I hope to do something for my family and express my love. After breakfast, Bai Qianjiao and He Jingyu went to the city hall. They still had many things to discuss. Wang Shuping helps He Tiantian take care of the children at home. Mom, Grandma and Father won't be here at noon, how about we take Grandma Wang with us to Grandma's place, He Tiantian suggested. She hadn't seen Grandma Chi-san for a while and missed her a little. Wang Shuping nodded repeatedly and said, I also want to visit my adoptive mother. As for your father and grandmother, when you come back in the evening, let them go directly to your adoptive mother's place so that we can have a good time together. Okay, then I'll clean it up, He Tiantian said, smiling happily. He Tiantian was packing things here, and Qi Zhengan's driver came over there, saying that the old lady invited them over. Mom, look, Grandma came here because she didn't want me to have to work hard to cook. She has a nanny at home and sent a car to pick us up, He Tiantian said. She wants to be with us. Yes, I also bought a gift for my adoptive mother, so I just happened to take it with me. Wang Shuping was also very happy and couldn't wait to go to her adoptive mother's place. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 757. 755. When He Tian brought Wang Shuping, the two children, He Daodu and Grandma Wang to the yard by the lake, Grandma Chi San was already wandering around the door, looking at the roadside from time to time. Wang Shuping saw Grandma Chi San's figure, got out of the car, walked a few steps quickly, and said in surprise, "Foster mother, how are you doing?" "Oh, I've been waiting for you all," Grandma Chi San sighed. "I'm in good health and strong. I haven't seen you for several years, but you are still so young and beautiful. My foster mother will praise me." Wang Shuping smiled and said, "Let's go into the house and stop standing outside." "Where's Daodu?" Grandma Chi San hadn't seen He Daodu yet. She was only 1 year old when she left, and she must be 4 or 5 years old now. He Daodu stepped forward, bowed and said, "Hello, Grandma." Okay, it's grown so big in a blink of an eye." Grandma Chi San sighed and touched He Daodu's head. "Hello, Grandma, hello, Grandma." Huo Ruiman saw that Chi San's grandma kept smiling at her uncle, as if she didn't see her, and chirped like a lark on the side. "Ruiman is good, Ruwa is good too," Grandma Chi San said with a smile. "Let's go into the house, there is a big watermelon at home." Oh, eat watermelon, eat watermelon," Huo Ruiman said with a smile and ran into the yard happily. Wang Shuping took a look and felt that the environment was good, and praised, "Foster mother, your yard is nice, with good scenery and wide space." "Haha, this is Tianatian's yard. The house being built over there was bought by Zhengan in my name," Grandma Chi San said. "She has been living in Tianatian's yard." "Yeah, that's not bad," Wang Shuping said. "I heard that Tian bought a house before, but I didn't expect to buy such a good yard." "Yes," Grandma Chi San said, "I just felt comfortable here, so I asked Zhengan to buy one nearby. Tian hasn't even lived here yet, so this place is a bargain for me. You are the elder of our family. How can I say that I am giving you an advantage by living here?" He Tian said angrily. "Grandma, please don't say that in the future. It makes me feel uncomfortable." "Haha, you sweet-mouthed girl," Grandma Chi San smiled. She liked He Tian like this. The group of people went in. Huo Yingzhe went into the house, took out the big watermelon, and cut it under the big tree in the yard. With both adults and children working together, Huo Yingzhe took 2 pieces of watermelon and gave them to Old Man Chi, who was fishing. Old Man Chi was fishing. When he saw Huo Yingzhe coming, he smiled and said, "What are you going to do on your trip to Yanjing?" Huo Yingzhe didn't hide anything and said with a smile, "Grandpa Chi, I went to Yanjing with Tian just to buy a house. Maybe my father will be transferred to Yanjing in a few years. Tian said that while my family has money, and the prices there are cheaper, so I bought it first." "Oh," Old Man Chi nodded, "it's really business. If you have enough money, I still have some." Old Man Chi had a special allowance and the pocket money Chi Shuliang gave him. He saved it all without a chance to talk. "That's enough, Grandpa Chi," Huo Yingzhe said. "Thank you, Grandpa Chi." "Okay, if you need money, just say it. If you don't have more, there are still less," Old Man Chi said. "Come, help me fish for a while, and I'll eat watermelon." "Okay." Huo Yingzhe took the fishing rod. Old Man Chi picked up the watermelon and took just 2 bites when Huo Yingzhe caught a large carp 1 foot long. "Not bad, kid," Old Man Chi said with a smile, "much better than my fishing skills." "Haha, luck, Huo Yingzhe said modestly, but he just threw the baited hook into the water, and within a minute, he was hooked again. Old Man Chi stared straight at it. He didn't want to eat the watermelon anymore, so he stood next to Huo Yingzhe and stared at it. Oops, in just 10 minutes, Huo Yingzhe had already caught 5 or 6 big fish. Old Man Chi, who had been sitting like this all morning and only caught 2 small crucian carp and melon seeds, was so envious. The same bait, the same fishing rod, the same place, why couldn't he catch it? You get up, I'll fish, Old Man Chi said. Old Man Chi asked Huo Yingja to get up, and he sat on the original bench and started fishing. In order to make the old man happy, Huo Yingja asked the little turtle to cooperate. After Old Man Chi caught 2 big fish, there was no movement. Ah, why is there no more? Old Man Chi was surprised, he was not satisfied yet. Maybe it was a school of fish just now. Now that the fish school has gone, naturally we can't catch it, Huo Yingja explained. You have been sitting here all morning. Let's go back. My mother-in-law is talking to Grandma Chi. Okay, there are so many fish, it's time to go back, Old Man Chi said with a smile. I can't finish it at noon today. You go back and take 3 fish back in the evening. Okay. Huo Yingja did not reject Old Man Chi's kindness, which made the old man feel happier. Huo Yingja went home with Old Man Chi with a fishing rod in one hand and a fish basket in the other. Uncle Chi, how are you? Wang Shuping stood up to greet him. Except for his hair being a little grayer, Old Chi had not changed much from before. Old Man Chi smiled, nodded, and said, I'm in good health, don't worry. Yingja gave me and your adoptive mother a bottle of health pills before, and the effect is good. Yingja, do you have any more? If so, give them to me again, 1 bottle. As long as you take 1 pill every 3 months, it will be useless if you take too much, Huo Yingja said. I'll ask you for help after you finish eating. You still have to beg, isn't it enough just to spend money? Grandma Chi-san asked. Originally she also wanted a bottle. The old Chinese doctor has a bad temper. He is old and still unwilling to interact with people. It takes a lot of medicinal materials to make these pills. He said last time that you should buy more after you finish eating, and don't buy them and leave them at home, which will affect the efficacy of the medicine, Huo Yingja explained, so I can't give you and Grandpa Chi the pills for the time being. I will personally deliver them to you after you finish eating. That's fine, Grandma Chi-san nodded. He Tian, Huo Yingja had already discussed it before, and the 2 bottles of medicine at home were given to Grandma first. I will make them later and give them to Grandma and Grandpa Chi. As for Mr. Huo and Mrs. Huo in Beijing, Huo Yingja also gave 2 bottles, a total of 8 pills. There are only 2 bottles left at home. If I give them to Grandma Chi-san, I can't give them to Grandma Bai Qianjiao. After all, Grandma Bai Qianjiao will only stay in China for a month and will return to the United States afterwards. It is inconvenient for He Tian to send pills, but for Grandma Chi-san, He Tian and Huo Yingja can deliver them at any time. Although she values both grandmothers very much and has deep feelings for them, it is not easy to say that she should give it to her biological grandmother temporarily and not to Grandma Chi-san. Fortunately, Huo Yingja is smart and has a good argument. He Tian was still in a dilemma before. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 758. 756. In the evening, He Jingyu and Bai Qianjiao followed Qi Shuliang to the yard by the lake. Haha, sworn brother, you saw it, I was right, I said Shuping and Tian will definitely come over, He Jingyu said proudly, before he guessed that his wife and daughter would definitely come over to visit Chi-san grandmother. That's right, Qi Shuliang said, brother, I am willing to be the loser. Bai Qianjiao, Grandma Chi-san, and Grandma Wang talked together. The 3 of them got along well and could talk freely. Because there are nannies and chefs around, He Tian doesn't need to cook and can just laugh with everyone. Tian asked curiously, Grandma, how is the conversation going now? Is it going well? It went well, Bai Qianjiao said, when the car is built, I will give you the best one. Originally, your grandmother wanted to send you an original foreign car, but I thought it would be troublesome, and in your current condition, you are not suitable for driving, and learning to drive would be troublesome, so I stopped her." Jinyu said, "Wait a minute. In 2 or 3 years, there will be more cars on the road, and it will no longer be awkward for you to drive." Tian smiled bitterly in her heart. Actually, she wanted a car. When you go out with your children, put them directly in the car. However, her father said so, and there must be a reason for it. She had to accept this good intention and said, "Okay, of course I want one of the cars we produce at home." "I want it too," Chi Jinmin said. "All the cars at home are for my brother. I usually ride a bicycle. I've become tanned and lost weight." "It's good to lose weight, haven't you been clamoring to lose weight?" Tian snickered, "this way you can wear clothes one size smaller." "I want to lose weight, but don't get tanned," Chi Jinmin said. "I have freckles on my nose, and they become more obvious when I'm in the sun." "Haha, you really need to pay attention to it. It's summer now, and if there are cucumbers, you can make thin slices to make a facial mask," Tian suggested. "If you replenish water, your skin will be better." "Well, your skin is so good, this method must be very useful." Chi Jinmin looked serious and serious. Wang Shuping and An were listening, shaking their heads and laughing. But they also came here when they were young, so they know this mentality very well and express their understanding. At 8 o'clock in the evening, I said goodbye and left. 2 cars took Tian and his party home. After going home and washing up, they went back to their rooms to rest. Over there, Tian was about to fall asleep when she suddenly remembered and said, "Brother Yingja, I heard from my dad today that my father-in-law drank a lot. You can send some snacks and so bring tea over there." "Okay." Huo Yingja nodded, "I'll send it right away." Zhang Lifang was very happy to see her son bringing snacks and so bring tea, and said, "Yesterday when your father came back, I gave him so bring tea and some porridge. When he woke up in the morning, he didn't have the same headache as before. If you have any extra at home, please bring me some so bring tea, and I'll make it for him later." "Okay, I have some at home. I'll bring them over tomorrow." Huo Yingja nodded. "It's getting late, so go back and rest first." Suddenly, Zhang Lifang thought of what she had been uneasy about these past few days, stopped her son, and whispered, "Yingja, what do you think about Tian buying a house?" Huo Yingja scratched his head, was stunned, and asked, "What can you say?" Seeing her son's expression, Zhang Lifang smiled and said, "He, I heard from Tian that those houses are very expensive. I have 20,000 here, and your grandmother gave me 20,000. You have some savings there, but it's just for buying a small part of the house. I am worried that your pride will get in your way and you will be at odds with Tian." "Mom, so you want to say this?" Huo Yingja suddenly realized. "Actually, I had some ideas before, but I thought it might be because of the different nature of the work. Dad is engaged in politics, I am engaged in special materials research, and you are a doctor. Our family is destined not to be rich. Tianation's natal family and ability have allowed her to make money. This is my pride. I won't have any trouble with Tian." "Well, it's good if you can figure it out," Zhang Lifang said. "Actually, a woman's idea is very simple. As long as the man is good to her, as long as the children are safe and the family is healthy, she will be satisfied, so you must always be good to Tian. Her hard work and efforts are not in vain." Huo Yingja nodded repeatedly and said, "Yeah, I took note of Mom." Fortunately, he has gotten used to it and adjusted his mentality so that he can face it calmly. Well, let's go back and rest early," Zhang Lifang said. "As long as the son and daughter-in-law have a good relationship, the money and power will come last." "Goodbye, Mom, good night." Huo Yingja smiled, turned, and left. Seeing her son leaving, Zhang Lifang smiled happily. She no longer had to worry about her son or daughter-in-law. By the time Huo Yingji came back, He Tiantian had already put the two children to sleep. In the morning, Huo Yingji woke up refreshed. He Tiantian thought about making breakfast for the family, so she also got up early. Tiantian, you can sleep a little longer, Huo Yingji reminded. I can make breakfast. He Tiantian was indeed a little tired and asked in a low voice, is it really possible? Okay, Huo Yingji said solemnly. He often helped He Tiantian. He couldn't have 100% of He Tianatian's skills, but he could still learn 70% or 80%. He Tiantian lay down again and said, then you go and cook. I will sleep for a while and get up with the child. Okay, Huo Yingji put on his clothes and then went out quietly. He Tiantian was a little tired. She closed her eyes and fell asleep in just a minute or two. It was obvious that she was tired. I don't know how long I slept for, but I woke up to two cries. It turned out that Huo Ruimin and Huo Ruwa woke up, but He Tiantian didn't, and they wet the bed. He Tiantian woke up and sat up. Mom is bad. Huo Ruimin accused her mother of laziness. She had been awake for a long time and called her mother several times, but she didn't hear her. She couldn't help but wet the bed. Huo Ruimin peed before going to bed. She didn't wake up at night, but she had to pee when she woke up in the morning. Today, because He Tiantian got up late and didn't hear her daughter's and son's calls, her daughter and son complained. Okay, Mom, I'm sorry for you, He Tiantian said, I'll wash you up and change your clothes right away. Recommend Xianqi's masterpiece The Rebirth of an Actress as Little Jun's Wife. The actress is reincarnated into a cute baby, and her appearance and acting skills are top-notch. Pretend to be a pig, eat the tiger and be invincible, kidnap a husband pia pia pia. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 759. 757. In the summer, it is a mat. You only need to take out the mat to wash and dry it later. Mom is bad, she didn't hear Ruimin's voice. He Tiantian said, I won't do it next time. Although Huo Ruwa didn't cry, his accusing eyes were very dissatisfied. At this time, Wang Shuping heard the crying before and hurried in, only to find out that the child had wet the bed. When the two children saw their grandmother coming, they quickly picked up the blanket and covered the wet spot. Their cheeks were red and they didn't want their grandmother to see it. Wang Shuping smiled and pretended not to see it. He Daodu, who was following, laughed and said, oh, you two wet the bed, it's so embarrassing. Wow. Now the two children, Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruimin, cried together. My uncle is a bad guy? He Daodu was startled when he saw his niece and nephew crying. Then he looked at the expressions of his mother and sister staring at him, and knew that he had said the wrong thing. He quickly changed his words and said, actually, it is not shameful to wet the bed. It is shameful to cry after wetting the bed. It's okay if he didn't say this. As soon as he said this, Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruimin cried even louder. Wang Shuping stretched out her hand to hit her son, but He Daodu cleverly turned around and ran away. If he didn't run away, he would be beaten. He had to go find his father now. Wang Shuping and He Tiantian hugged each other and coaxed them softly. Finally coaxed the two babies. I don't like Uncle, Huo Ruimin pouted and said, holding a grudge. I don't like it either, Huo Ruwa echoed his sister's words for a rare time, my uncle hates it. Wang Shuping smiled and said, later, Grandma will beat your uncle to vent your anger, okay? Okay, hello, Grandma. Huo Ruimin smiled, kissed Wang Shuping on the face, beat him. Well, beat him, Wang Shuping said, you are obedient and are good babies. Good baby. Huo Ruimin was so happy. He Tiantian got a basin of warm water and washed the child's butt before dressing the child. He Daodu found his father and practiced slow fitness boxing with his father and grandmother. When I saw my mother and sister coming out, I felt guilty and hid behind my father. But the child is very playful. He hated his uncle just now, but now he sees his uncle boxing and runs over to him. The three of them are playing together again. When Huo Yingzhi saw He Tiantian getting up, he smiled and said, "Breakfast will be ready soon. You can wash up and have breakfast together later." "Okay, thank you for your hard work, brother Yingzhi," He Tiantian whispered. Seeing that everyone else was outside the kitchen, he secretly kissed Huo Yingzhi. "My husband is so good and deserves a reward." Wang Shuping and He Jingyu saw that the couple had a good relationship and the child was healthy and smart, so there was really no need to worry. Before they were abroad, they were often worried that He Tiantian was not doing well. Haha, Tiantian has a good temper, but if someone really bullies her, she won't accept it. Bai Qianjiao said, "She has plans for her own life and her own steps. Others just need to watch silently. We help her when she is in trouble and don't worry about anything else." "That's what mother said," He Jingyu said. "I don't know when I will return to China this time." "It shouldn't take too long," Bai Qianjiao said. "In the future, with the reform and opening up in the country, the exchanges with the outside world will be very close, and it will be very convenient to go back and forth." "Yes, that's true." He Jingyu smiled and continued to practice boxing with his good mother. After breakfast, Bai Qianjiao took He Jingyu to the city hall again to continue the conversation. He Tiantian and Wang Shuping were doing housework at home and laughing at the same time. Time passed very quickly. At night, He Tiantian took the pills given by Huo Yingzhi and entered her grandmother's room. Bai Qianjiao was reading documents with her reading glasses on. Seeing He Tiantian come in, she put the documents aside and said with a smile, "It's so late, aren't you going to sleep?" "I'll fall asleep in a while." He Tiantian smiled and poured a glass of water for her grandmother. "Grandma, here are the pills that brother Yingzhi asked for from an old Chinese medicine doctor. They are very effective. 1 pill every 3 months. Guaranteed to make your body lighter." Bai Qianjiao took it, opened it, and smelled it. A strong medicinal fragrance hit her face, and said with a smile, "It looks good." "It's very good," He Tiantian said. "I gave 1 bottle each to Yanjing's grandfather, grandmother, and grandma. They all thought they were very good after eating it, so I asked brother Yingzhi to buy 2 bottles for you too. I originally wanted to send it to you, but I thought that this pill is special and someone might pull it out for inspection and touch it, which is really inappropriate." "Haha, this is indeed suitable for me in person." Bai Qianjiao smiled, "Since the effect is so good, I want to try it." After saying that, he took the water and pills handed over by He Tiantian and ate them in one gulp. "It's not bitter," Bai Qianjiao said. "My stomach feels warm and very comfortable." Bai Qianjiao has chronic gastritis, and her stomach has not felt so comfortable for a long time. "Don't take more of this medicine. 1 pill every 3 months. This is for 2 years. There are 2 bottles. Just keep it at room temperature," He Tiantian said. "After you finish eating, I will send it to you when the time comes." "Okay," Bai Qianjiao said, "as I get older, I just want to live a few more years. Your father is an honest man and is a little unable to deal with such a big deal, so I can only supervise from the side. When your brother grows up, he will probably have to 20 years, I have to live to at least 90 years old." "Grandma, thank you for your hard work," He Tiantian said. She couldn't tell the story of letting her grandmother handle some properties, so she could have some leisure time, because these are the Bai families and her grandmother's hard work. Bai Qianjiao smiled and said, "Fortunately, I have my family here, I am not alone, and it is not hard. Besides, I am really not used to doing anything but drinking tea and reading books every day. Coming back this time, your parents and I can feel relieved to see that you are doing well." Bai Qianjiao said, "Although we are abroad, we have always paid close attention to you." He Tiantian was moved and said, "Grandma, you are doing well too. We are all doing well. Even if we are not together, we can still miss each other." "That's right," Bai Qianjiao said. "Okay, I feel very comfortable and want to go to bed. You should go and have a rest early. If something happens, let's talk tomorrow. Grandma, have a good rest. He Tian nodded, see you tomorrow. Indeed, as mentioned just now, Bai Qianjiao was very comfortable and fell asleep unconsciously while lying on the bed. It was not as difficult to fall asleep as usual. After a good night's sleep, Bai Qianjiao was full of energy the next morning. She found that not only her body was more relaxed, but her breathing had also become lighter. Bai Qianjiao held 2 medicine bottles in her hands, secretly lost in thought, is it really so good? Let's observe it for a few more days. Bai Qianjiao is a cautious person, so she puts it in the innermost part of her suitcase. She must keep such a good thing well. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 760. 758. The car factory project is proceeding in an orderly manner. It took half a month to finally implement all the terms. As long as the funds are in place, construction can start. In order to train technicians for automobile companies, some colleges and universities have launched some related courses. The next time is time for sightseeing. This is arranged by the state. Many people follow the special train to visit several important scenic spots in the country. He Jingyu, Bai Qianjiao, Qi Shuliang and others did not want to go, so they stayed at home. They return home mainly to spend time with their families, not to travel around. Qian Zhijao also returned to Yanjing with his wife and children. Qian Shikan and his wife Liao invited He Tian, Huo Yingzhe, and He Jingyu to visit them. He Jingyu and his wife talked to Qian Shikan and Liao together. He Jingyu was familiar with Qian Shikan and had a lot to say. Mr. Liao has lived in Xiangjiang for so many years, and Wang Shuping has been abroad for a few years, so the two of them can get along well. Qian Zhijao asked his wife Xia Weining to accompany He Tian to talk, and called Huo Yingzhe to come and chat. Qian Zhijao took out his briefcase, which contained this year's account books, and said, "This is the company's account book. You have one copy here, and I have another copy over there. In the first half of the year, because your videotape patent has been authorized, a total of received $1.5 million in royalties." Only 1.5 million, Huo Yingzhe was stunned. Why is it so little? Because it is a new product, many people are uncertain about the future. The required authorization period is 1 year, and this is only authorized by country M, Xiangjiang, and European countries. I am sending people to negotiate, Qian Zhijao said, but I am very optimistic about your product. After this year, they will definitely extend the authorization period. Huo Yingzhe nodded and said, well, next year, the 1-year licensing fee will be $800,000 in Xiangjiang, $5 million in the United States, and in European countries, choose some competitive companies for licensing, also $5 million. As for Japan, $8 million. Although Qian Zhijao was optimistic about this patent, he did not dare to think of such a high licensing fee. Isn't this too high? Qian asked. I'm worried. It's definitely possible. In the past, everyone could only watch it on TV, but the programs on TV were fixed, and you couldn't just watch whatever you wanted. Especially movies, so when you watch movies, you can only go to the cinema, but movie theaters can only watch the latest movies. It is difficult for people to watch the wonderful movies and TV series from the past. If you can burn those wonderful movies and TV series in the past, you can rent or buy them at any time if you buy a video recorder or player. Videotape, isn't it a good deal? Qian Zhijao heard it, and it was indeed the case. Okay, I'll try my best next year, Qian Zhifei said. By the way, our patent should have an upgraded product, right? Yes, Huo Yingzhe said, but these are enough for now. When the heat is over, I will give you new related upgrade patents. That's good. Qian Zhijao suddenly became confident. As long as he followed Huo Yingzhe, his achievements would be greater and greater in the future. Before, he was just a law teacher at Xiangjiang University, and he usually helped some people with lawsuits, but he sensitively discovered that patents were a very promising direction in the future. I happened to meet a great person like Huo Yingzhe again, and we hit it off immediately. The past 6 months have been hard but very fulfilling. Thank you for your hard work over there, Huo Yingzhe said. If you have anything to do, you can contact Tian Tian. Okay, I will, Qian Zhijao said. By the way, after I go back this time, I am going to quit my job as a university teacher and concentrate on developing our career. I won't let you down, Huo Yingzhe said. I still have some things over there. I will sort them out in a few days and give them to you. If you manage them well, you will definitely become a multimillionaire within 3 years. Then I'll thank you first, Qian Zhijao said, feeling confident. The Xie family of my wife's mother-in-law is a prominent local family. Although they are not the top rich, their family is well off. They also went through a lot of hardships before they came together. It's just that the people in his father-in-law's family look down on him, which hurts him. Fortunately, the relationship between the couple is very good. He thinks it doesn't matter to him, he only feels uncomfortable once or twice a year, but he doesn't want to wrong his wife, so he is ready to give it a try and give his wife a generous material life so that she can feel proud in front of her parents' family. Do you need me to transfer this money? Qian Zhijao asked. If you don't need it, I can transfer it to a Swiss bank for you for later use. It's not necessary for the moment. Please deposit it in the bank for me first. Don't use my name, use Tian Tian. Huo Yingzhe smiled bitterly. Hey, his current work status is too troublesome. But I can't resign now, I can only continue to be so aggrieved. Okay, Qian Zhijao asked, the economic situation is good now, and I also heard that some people from Xiangjiang are planning to come to the mainland to open factories. This is a very good opportunity. Originally, I wanted to persuade my father-in-law and brother-in-law to come and set up factories. Yes, but they seem to be more optimistic about the mainland, so I don't want to say anything. Haha, this also needs to be forward-looking, Huo Yingzhe said. Some people are worried and may miss this opportunity. However, you can't push your head if you don't want water. You do your business well, and you will be better than others. Everything is fine. Yes, Qian Zhijao laughed, I think so too. He had already reminded them, regardless of past grudges, that if his father-in-law's family didn't listen, there was nothing they could do about it. We talked about things and had a pleasant day. When he got home, Tian Tian saw Huo Yingzhe taking a briefcase, opened it and saw that it was all account books. Brother Yingzhe, what kind of account book is this? Tian Tian asked. It was all in English and Chinese. Qian Zhijao gave it to me, Huo Yingzhe said. We now have an extra $1.5 million in cash. Oh my god, there are so many, Tian Tian exclaimed. She was busy opening a shop and could only make so much money in a year. Huo Yingzhe only made so much money by getting a patent. Not much, there will be more next year, Huo Yingzhe said. I saved it in your name. If you need money, I can ask Qian Zhijao to remit the money to you. Tian Tian was stunned, waved her hand and refused. I don't want it for now, it's too much money, I'm afraid it's not suitable, let's talk about it in a few years. Okay, Huo Yingzhe nodded, it's all up to you. Brother Yingzhe is so awesome, Tian Tian praised, our family has so much money in the blink of an eye. I can't believe it. If there is anything you can't believe, there will be more in the future, so you don't have to worry about money and don't push yourself too hard, Huo Yingzhe said. I have everything under my control. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 761. 759. He Tian kissed Huo Yingzhe and then hid the list. It was all family money. With this money, He Tian becomes more confident in doing things and has no worries at all. Brother Yingzhe is awesome. He Tian praised again. In our family, Brother Yingzhe is awesome. We can't think about it in the future. He Tian took the opportunity to feed chicken soup to Huo Yingzhe to satisfy his macho mentality of supporting the family. Okay, Huo Yingzhe held He Tian in his arms and spun around in circles. Ah, He Tian screamed, put me down quickly. He Tian was startled by the sudden hug, and her face turned pale. If you don't let me go, I won't let you go. Huo Yingzhe turned around a few more times. Huo Ruimin ran out of the house and said excitedly, Dad, Ruimin wants a hug. Put me down quickly, He Tian said, the child has seen it. Huo Yingzhe let go of He Tian, and then started to hold his daughter Huo Ruimin. Seeing his son's envious eyes, he put down his daughter, then picked up his son and ran around in the yard. He Daodu was even more envious because his father held him like this when he was a child. It's just that he has grown up now and his father can't hold him anymore. Huo Yingzhe saw He Daodu's envious eyes, put down his son, and held He Daodu around a few times. Ha, He Daodu laughed, brother-in-law is so nice. The yard was filled with the sounds of good children screaming and laughing. Time passed quickly. Bai Qianjiao, He Jingyu and others finished their work in Nanxi. After half a month's rest, they were about to go back with Qi Shuliang and Annie. Wang Shuping couldn't bear to leave. She wiped the inside and outside of the house many times in the past 2 days, as if she wanted to remember every bit of it in her heart. Mom, don't be like this. I feel uncomfortable watching it. He Tian felt a little distressed when she saw her mother fidgeting. She knew that her mother preferred China to abroad. Wang Shuping sat down, took a glass of water from her daughter, drank a few sips, and said, Hey, I really can't bear to leave. Although foreign countries are good, they are not as good as home. Yes, He Tian said, it's just that our family is special. The reality is a bit helpless. Yes, Wang Shuping said, thinking about it makes me feel greedy, but life is much better now than before. It would be bad to force anything else. Yes, that's what Mom said. He Tian nodded slightly, only when you are content can you always be happy. He Jingyu often chats with Huo Yingzhe these days, asking Huo Yingzhe to be nice to Tian. Huo Yingzhe responded one by one without showing any dissatisfaction, lest his father-in-law would feel at ease when he went abroad. Bai Qianjiao acted indifferently, but she secretly left He Tian a bank book worth 1 million from a local bank in Yanjing. Qi Shuliang and Annie left, while Qi Zhengan and Qi Zhenmin continued to stay in Nanxi to carry out the following work. Just 2 days before leaving, Secretary Qi, Niu Dajin, Qi Xiaoyan, and their 2 children came to Yanjing. I heard that you didn't have time to go to Qijia village, so I came here. Village Chief Qi said, we haven't seen you for many years, and I've been thinking about it. He Jingyu smiled and said, thank you for your hard work, Brother Qi. It's not hard work. Village Chief Qi said, we can come here together and see all of you. Otherwise, you would have to drag your family there with you, and the transportation is inconvenient. Village Chief Qi said, he is very open-minded about this. After all, their place is remote and they are very busy. By the way, Brother Dazu, how are the 2 factories in the village? Qi Shuliang asked. With the help of his daughter, he built 2 factories for Qijia village and used all the places where crops could not grow. Seeing Qi Shuliang mention the factory, Village Chief Qi was very happy and said, okay, very good. Now most of the labor force in the village, women, work in the factory. Now everyone's life is in our Daowen County, even Hawaii City. It's all worth it. The children go to school and are very sensible. That's good. Qi Shuliang said, I already know about the construction of the junior high school from Zhenmin. Zhengan will remit this part of the money as soon as possible, and then the school will be built better. Haha, no need, Shuliang village chief Chi said, now there are 2 factories in the village, the profits are good, and there is enough money to build a school. Chi Shuliang thought about it and said, okay, I'll send more books there so that the children can read more and broaden their horizons. I won't refuse this, village chief Chi said. Money is easy to solve, but it is still difficult to buy a large number of books. He Jingyu smiled and said, I will also give you some books. Okay, I won't refuse these, village chief Chi said. Now a market is formed with our village as the center, and it is getting bigger and bigger. In time, it will be no worse than the county seat. Then you should plan carefully. Maybe it will become a township in the near future, He Jingyu said. By then, Brother Chi will be able to be the head of the township right at home. Village Chief Chi waved his hand and said with a smile, I am already my age. I don't care whether the village is the head of the village or not. I just hope that our village can get better and better. The 3 of them drank tea and talked about their respective situations. Huo Yingzhe, Niu Daijin, Chi Xiaoyan, and He Tiantian were eating snacks, drinking tea, and chatting in the room. As for the children, they all went to the yard to play with the little spinner turtles. Sister Tiantian, we are here to give you 30% of the profit for the first half of the year, Chi Xiaoyan said. This is 160,000 yuan and account books. Sister Tiantian, please check. He Tiantian took it and said, okay, I will check the accounts. Your business has been good in the past 6 months. It's good that they are all from Sister Tiantian, Chi Xiaoyan said. If it were an ordinary store, it would be impossible to make so much money. Well, if you work hard, you can earn more in the future, He Tian nodded and encouraged Chi Xiaoyan and Niu Daijin. However, Chi Xiaoyan was not as happy as He Tiantian imagined, and asked, Xiaoyan, what's wrong with you? Did something bad happen to you? Chi Xiaoyan secretly glanced at Niu Daijin, finally shook her head and said, nothing. He Tiantian was surprised. She turned to look at Niu Daijin and said, Brother Daijin, what's going on? If you have something to say, you can always find a way to solve it. Niu Daijin smiled bitterly and said, actually, it's not a big deal. It's just that Xiaoyan has a very good singing talent. It's a pity that she has been a music teacher in elementary school. Especially after participating in the provincial Red Song competition, an old artist judge said that Xiaoyan, if I go to Yanjing Conservatory of Music for further studies, I will definitely become a famous singer in the future. Oh, He Tiantian breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Chi Xiaoyan, do you want to go to Yanjing Conservatory of Music? Chi Xiaoyan nodded, then shook her head. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 762. 760. She likes music very much and wants to make her own contribution in music, but she likes her husband and is reluctant to leave her children. She can't bear to go to Yanjing alone. Xiaoyan has always been very conflicted, Niu Daijin said. I have been thinking about this matter recently and want to accompany Xiaoyan to take the exam in Yanjing. What if I pass the exam? He Tiantian asked. Do you want to live separately? Niu Daijin shook his head and said, of course not. If Xiaoyan can be admitted to the Conservatory of Music next year, I will take my children to Yanjing. By then I can do business, and when the children are old, they can go to elementary school. No matter what, the family is here together. He Tiantian was a little touched after hearing this. Niu Daijin really loved Chi Xiaoyan very much and would rather leave his hometown for Chi Xiaoyan's ideal. Since Brother Daijin has agreed to go to Yanjing with you and support your ideals and career, why are you still not happy? He Tiantian asked. Logically speaking, Chi Xiaoyan should be happy. Hey, Chi Xiaoyan sighed, I am very touched, but if Brother Daijin goes to Yanjing with me, then the career that the family has finally built will be in vain. Haha, He Tiantian smiled, Don't worry about it. Have you forgotten that Yanjing is the headquarters of the Huo family? With the Huo family, they can establish a firm foothold by opening a store in Yanjing. Chi Xiao Yan's eyes lit up and she said, Sister Tian Tian, you are the best. If we go to Yanjing, we don't want to monopolize this business, but we can form a partnership. My husband and I have also saved some money, and brother Dajin can help. How about we open the store to Yanjing while you're at it? He Tiandian nodded and said, okay, originally I wanted to open a store in Yanjing, but there was no suitable person in Yanjing, so I never took action. If it is brother Dajin, I will naturally be willing. Niu Dajin was excited and asked, Tian Tian, Yingzhe, thank you for your trust, I will definitely not let you down. Niu Dajin finally figured out that it was not enough to be rich, but also to have power before he could open a store in Yanjing. Tian Tian is in charge of these things, and I am not involved, Huo Yingzhe said, but don't worry, no one will come to trouble you when you open a store in Yanjing. I can take care of this, and I have some connections in Yanjing. I can introduce it to you then. Thank you, Niu Dajin said. Well, brother Dajin, I agree, he Tian Tian said, don't worry about anything, Xiao Yan, you can study hard and try to pass the exam. It doesn't matter even if you don't pass the exam, we will wait for brother Dajin's career when the time comes. Now that you are stable, you can definitely go to apprenticeship. Chi Xiao Yan's eyes lit up, she thought for a while and said, brother Dajin, let's make another half a year this year, and then go to Yanjing to take the exam after the new year. With Professor Chang's recommendation, I should be able to pass the exam. Sister Tian Tian, do you think it's okay? I'm not in a hurry, just follow your plan, he Tian Tian said. With this plan, during the Chinese New Year, when her aunt Song Chunli questioned her, she could finally have a positive answer. Sometimes he Tian Tian is really worried that when Song Chunli doesn't get a reply from her, she will have random thoughts and be too petty, which will affect the family relationship. Thank you, Sister Tian Tian, Chi Xiao Yan said, I will work hard. We are all doing well, better than anything else, he Tian Tian said. By the way, if you go to Yanjing, who will you leave the affairs of the Daowen County shop to? Chi Xiao Yan smiled and said, he is the only one in brother Dajin's family, so we discussed giving it to Sister Lily, eldest brother and sister-in-law. They have been helping in the shop for more than a year. But Sister Tian Tian, don't worry, your the 30% profit will not be less, and it will be delivered to you on time. Well, I believe that, he Tian Tian nodded. The authorization she gave Niu Dajin was only in Huai City. The scope was small and easy to control. A trip to Nanchi solved the problem, and Chi Xiao Yan smiled happily. Oh, Sister Tian Tian, if I become a singer, you will be the singer's best friend, Chi Xiao Yan said with a smile. When the time comes, your school will need to hold a party, or a store anniversary celebration, etc. You can come directly to help. He Tian Tian laughed and said, then let me thank the future singer first. Easy to say, Chi Xiao Yan said jokingly, who makes us good sisters? Okay, since brother Dajin supports you so much, you have to be kind to brother Dajin and not be willful, he Tian Tian persuaded. Chi Xiao Yan had a good temper, but when she got stubborn, even 9 cows couldn't pull her back. Haha, Niu Dajin said happily, Xiao Yan is doing well. Chi Xiao Yan shrugged and said, you see, brother Dajin said I'm pretty good. Okay, he Tian Tian rolled her eyes, blame me for being nosy. No, Niu Dajin said, I know you wish us well, and you understand it in your heart. Okay, don't sit still. Brother Yingzhe and brother Dajin, please take care of the children and help greet the elders in the house. Xiao Yan and I will go out to buy food and we will go home to cook later, he Tian Tian looked at the time. We can't talk anymore, otherwise we won't have lunch. Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, okay, I'm at home. Chi Xiao Yan and He Tian Tian carried baskets to the nearby farmer's market to buy vegetables. Sister Tian Tian, you have been married for so many years and you are still so close, Chi Xiao Yan said, a little envious. Brother Dajin is also very nice. I love you as always, He Tian Tian said, don't be dissatisfied. I always feel that every mountain is higher than the next. Brother Dajin is very nice, but he is quite dull, Chi Xiao Yan regretted, it would be nice if we could be more intimate. Hearing Chi Xiao Yan's words, He Tian Tian was a little hesitant, but he still wanted to give her a vaccination and said, Xiao Yan, it's always happy to be content. You see the advantages of brother Yingjia, but you don't see his shortcomings. Same reason, as you live together for a long time, you will see brother Dajin's shortcomings and even inadvertently forget his advantages. This is wrong. In the future, you will participate in some performances or competitions and you will meet many good-looking people. A good-looking, charming man, if you can't stick to your heart, your love will be affected sooner or later. Chi Xiao Yan was stunned for a moment, startled by He Tianatian's words, and then immediately smiled and said, Sister Tian Tian, Brother Dajin and I are doing well. I complain on my lips, but actually I love him very much in my heart. Apart from my father, he is the right person. My best man. That's good. You must remember my words at all times, He Tian Tian said, think about how many sacrifices Brother Dajin has made to be with you. You can't be heartless. I understand, Sister Tian Tian, Chi Xiao Yan said, I am not a woman who is always in a hurry. If you are that kind of woman, I will be the first to break up with you, He Tian Tian said, no matter how beautiful love is, it will become dull because of life. The so-called change of heart and the loss of love are just forgetting the original vows and original intentions and not wanting to stick to it.